May we be upstanding for the Kenyan National Anthem. I request we remain silent for a word of prayer. We'll be led by Hussein Abdul Rahman and Reverend Father Patrick Ndongo.
Let's pray. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. O Allah, you alone we worship, and you alone we guidance, we help seek. Guide us the straight path and help us. We believe and trust in the name of Almighty. Amen.
Dear Heavenly Father and God, we present ourselves to you and this our beloved country as we thank you for the blessings and care we have received from you. We shall never get tired of calling upon your name, for we know everything happens under your mighty hand. That is why we shall always bow down forgiveness for the times we failed to fulfill your precepts. We continually pray for our leaders, for we know only your spirit and wisdom will make them successful in leading your people. Be with them and nourish them always with good health and wisdom, beginning with our President, His Excellency Dr. William Ruto, his deputy and the executive. Help them steer this country to greater heights. In a special way, we ask for blessings on the judicial arm of government under the leadership of the Honorable Chief Justice, Mother Koome, and her Deputy Justice Philomena Mwilu, and all other justice actors as they continue to strive to make better every day. This is for all Kenyans. Make their efforts successful as we mark the launch of the Administration of Justice Annual Report 2021-2022 today. Bless their work and increase their wisdom and dedication. Inspire them always to make policies, implement them, and coordinate activities geared towards a realization of a just society. We ask you to make their work on delivery of justice enhance peaceful coexistence among Kenyans. For your word in Psalms 85:10 declare that justice and peace shall embrace. May the fruits of their work enable the country to embrace peace. Bless this day. Make it a mark of great stride towards attaining a just and peaceful society. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Ruhusa yako Mheshimiwa Rais, naomba tuketi. Your Excellency, Honorable Dr. William Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya and the Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces, the Chief Justice and the President of the Supreme Court and the Chairperson of the NCAJ, Honorable Justice Mother Koome, the Deputy Chief Justice, all judges present, the Attorney General, Honorable Justin Muturi, the Vice Chairpersons, NCAJ, who is also the DPP, Mr. Nordin Haji, the Cabinet Secretary is present, Their Excellency, the Ambassadors and Head of Diplomatic Corps, the CRJ Secretary, and also the NCAJ, the esteemed Commissioners of the Judicial Service Commission, all the CSOs present, invited guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellency, Allow me at this juncture to invite the Chief Registrar of the Judiciary and the Secretary to NCAJ, Honorable Anna Amadi, to do her welcome remark and invite a few to make their remarks. Welcome, Madam.
Your Excellency, Honorable William Samuel Ruto, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Republic of the Kenya Defense Forces, Honorable Justice Martha Koome, Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court of Kenya, Honorable the Deputy Chief Justice, Vice President of the Supreme Court of Kenya, permit me to adopt the protocol that has been established by our MC in the interest of time. May I take this opportunity to welcome all of you to this occasion, and the presentation of the inaugural annual Administration of Justice of Kenya report. The report has been published by the National Council on the Administration of Justice pursuant to Section 37 of the Judicial Service Act, which requires that the Council shall prepare and submit annual reports on its activities to the Cabinet Secretary for onward transmission to the National Assembly. Your Excellency, the NCAJ was established by statute, that's the Judicial Service Act, in 2011, and although the law requires the Council to submit annual reports to the National Assembly, the activities of the justice sector institutions have in the past been captured in the annual State of the Judiciary and Administration of Justice report, or SOJA as we call it. So this is the first time we are publishing a separate report for the NCAJ, following a resolution of the Council that going forward will continue to publish a separate report on the activities of the Council. This is therefore a milestone for the Council, and I wish to take this opportunity to appreciate the Honorable the Chief Justice, the Chair of the Council, for her leadership and foresight that has enabled this achievement. Your Excellency, since inception in 2012, the NCJ has grown from just 2 employees, both seconded by development partners, working out of a small office in the Supreme Court building under the leadership of the Chief of Staff, Office of the Chief Justice, who doubled up as the acting executive director. Today's milestone reflects the growth we have experienced in the establishment and operations of the Council. Today, the Council boasts more than 40 members from state and non-state actors. The Secretariat is now headed by a substantive full-time executive director who is supported by a team of 14 staff. The Secretariat has its own offices at the Mayfair Center in Upper Hill, and this has made it possible for the 9 working committees of the NCJ and the 236 court user committees to receive better support, enhancing effective interagency collaboration in the administration of justice at the grassroots. Ladies and gentlemen, the growth of NCJ has been supported by the Judicial Service Commission, various NCJ member agencies, as well as development partners, some of whom I see here today. They've continued to hold our hands by offering technical and financial resources to support our vision of a well-coordinated justice sector for Kenya. For this, we are truly grateful. The report we launched today showcases the results of this support and collaboration. It demonstrates our accountability to Kenyans and all stakeholders for the manner in which the Council has discharged its mandate and exercised stewardship over the resources that were availed from our collective taxes the support from development partners. It will also form the baseline for measuring year-on-year progress in the administration of justice and the basis for robust discussions on how we can all work together to improve the administration of justice through interagency collaboration and coordination. This is the reason I'm happy this morning to see most, if not all, the representatives of the NCJ member agencies, as well as development partners in their numbers. And this is for us testament to your continued commitment to our cause. As evidenced by the achievements recorded in the reports, the NCJ has tremendous potential to transform the administration of justice, but they've been held back by severe resource constraints and a weak statutory framework. In this regard, I'm glad to report that there is ongoing work to develop a legal framework that will empower the Council to discharge its mandate. I hasten to add that the NCJ has largely relied on the judiciary for its financial resources. And I hope that the separate reporting framework that starts today will also propel us to a separate funding framework. And this will serve the dual purpose of easing the judiciary the financial burden while enhancing operations of the NCJ in fulfilling its mandate as a premier justice sector policy-making body. Your Excellency, as Secretary to the Council, I'm extremely proud of the achievements detailed in our report, which have been registered under the leadership of our able Council Chair, the Chief Justice, the Vice Chair, Mr. Nordin Haji, Director of Public Prosecution, and with the support of all the NCJ Council member agencies. Although I'm the titular head of the Secretariat, the heavy lifting has been done by the Secretariat team led by Dr. Maranga, and I must all of them for the work they've put in to produce these results. The task on their shoulder is huge, and it is highly commendable that this small team has facilitated the Council to register such impressive results. Your Excellency, allow me to just ask the NCJ Secretariat members to stand up so that we can acknowledge them. NCJ Secretariat, right there. Thank you. Well done. We are very proud of you. Further credit goes to the chairs and members of the NCJ working committees and court users committees across the country, whose members have continued to work closely with each other to ensure efficiency. Again, Your Excellency, may I just ask the chairs and members of the NCJ working committees to rise so that we can acknowledge you. Thank you. Thank you very much for all the work that you have done. And as I conclude, I remain hopeful that we can count on all of us to continue this partnership with the same commitment during the coming years, so that there is a lot more to celebrate when the second annual report is presented, hopefully next year. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all once again for gracing this occasion. Asanteni sana na karibuni sana. May I now move to the next phase? So I'll ask a few individuals to come forward and make some remarks. I want to invite the first speaker, Her Excellency Ol Thonke, the Ambassador of the Kingdom of Denmark. Your Excellency, Ambassador, please come forward. We appreciate the support that we continue to receive through the IDLO, and this has benefited the NCJ a great deal. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much for that. Your Excellency, President William Ruto, Honorable CJ, Martha Koome, all protocols observed. An independent and strong judicial system is key to a well-functioning democracy. That goes for all over the world, and I think it's very fair to say also goes for Kenya. For me, the last couple of elections has been a testimony to this fact. And I want to commend the justice system of Kenya for exactly that. But equally important, justice is a human right for all citizens all over the world and for all citizens of Kenya. And this is well enshrined in the Constitution of Kenya. Furthermore, a well-functioning judicial system is key for the private sector of Kenya. They base their decisions, their business strategies on can they trust the legal system of Kenya. And this is both for Kenyan companies, but it's also for international companies and investors. Therefore, a well-functioning judicial system is really, really crucial for any society. I believe that today's report documents the value of NCAJ, because the fact is that the justice system is not stronger than the weakest link of it. If the police doesn't collect the evidence, if the prosecutors doesn't put together the cases, the courts can't function and perform their role. For me, if you go down to what is then needed on the ground, for me, the court user committees is a perfect example of how to make sure that this actually happens in practice. And I want to congratulate the judicial system of Kenya for launching the court user committees for the environment and land courts recently, but also, since we are in the 16 days of activism, congratulate the judicial system for launching the court user committee for the specialized gender-based violence court in Mombasa recently, where I believe you, CJ, also personally participated in that. For me, the court user committees are the essence of NCAJ. They need and they ensure that all the relevant actors work together and that the wheels are turning the right way so that we have a smooth legal system. Because if not, and we have seen examples of that, it takes too long time for people to go through the legal system. On this Friday, we had a seminar at the embassy where a lot of testimonies was that it took 3 to 5 years for survivors of gender-based violence to go through the legal system. And as we all know, delayed justice is justice denied. And furthermore, what often happens is that many of these survivors, they don't even have the energy to go through the legal process because it's too tedious, it's too long, it's too bureaucratic. And again, the court user committees is a very important instrument to make sure that this actually reduces time and bureaucracy around the legal system. And there, NCAJ has a very, very crucial part. And I want to congratulate them and all the people who have worked around NCAJ for the first report. And I want to use this opportunity to pledge our continued support from Denmark to this special system and where we share so many values. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. Our next speaker is Her Excellency Henriette Geiger, Ambassador of the European Union to Kenya. Ladies and gentlemen, the European Union, through what we call the PLEAD program, has been very instrumental in supporting the NCAJ reform agenda. And so, Ambassador, as you step forward to speak, we are looking forward to the launch of PLEAD 2. Welcome.
Good morning. Dear Mr. President, dear Madam Chief Justice, dear NCHA leadership, excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. Allow me to make a few remarks on behalf of the European Union. Very, very important to work together on the fundamental values that we share and that are enshrined in your constitution. Based on this, in 2016, we conceived the PLEAD program, the program for legal empowerment and access to justice. And looking back on the past few years, we can be very proud of the progress achieved in the justice sector. We jointly collaborated to bring support to individual agencies in this justice chain, but we also built a strong partnership to work with the National Council on Alternative Justice, NCHA. And as we are wrapping up this first phase of the justice sector reform program, we are about to launch in a few months the next 5-year program. It is evident that through determined action, we have ensured that justice reform is not just proclaimed at high-level events such as the one that we have here today, but it needs to be felt in detention facilities, in police stations, in courts, prisons, by defense lawyers, investigators, prosecutors, by families, communities, and businesses all over the country. In our new program, we commit to support the vision of NCHA to take this delivery of justice deeper and further in Kenya, particularly for those facing situations of vulnerability and for those who struggle to make ends meet on a daily basis. We will focus on activities to advance digitalization, roll out the alternative justice strategy, address the large number of petty offenses, and hope to roll out the proposed, Excellency Mr. President, to launch a new system for instant traffic fines. This will really help the ordinary citizens to see that justice delivers in Kenya. To support the direct work of court user committees on the ground, we will expand our program from 12 to 19 counties and will extend our work to new institutions, including the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission and the Department of Children's Services, to ensure that child rights are better protected in Kenya and that the fight against corruption and for transparency and accountability is prioritized. I would like to express my special thanks to Chief Justice Koome for her strong leadership, her personal dedication, commitment and professionalism in driving justice sector reforms forward and avail common Kenyans access to justice in a faster, more predictable and transparent manner. I would also like to thank the entire NCHA leadership and staff across all justice institutions in Kenya for their collaboration with the European Union, for their hard work to guide and implement the bills of rights contained in the Kenyan Constitution, and to build the institutions and a country that makes Kenyans proud. We note the problem-solving and collaborative attitude in court user committees across Kenya, the openness to civil society and other non-state actors. This is fundamental in a maturing democracy. I sincerely congratulate you all on the good results you present today. Let us keep up the pace. The plans for 22-23 are very ambitious and extremely relevant, and the EU and others are standing at your side. Lastly, let me finish by sharing that it is the work of duty bearers and rights holders which allows Kenyans to leave court station guidance and support to ensure that the letter of Kenya's constitution and laws can be enjoyed by everyone in this country. Thank you very much. Asanteni sana.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. We continue to appreciate your support. May I take this opportunity to recognize the presence of CS Health, Madam Susan Nahumicha. Thank you for joining us. May I also take this opportunity to recognize the presence of Harriet Chigai, Advisor Women's Rights. Thank you for being with us here today. I want to also recognize the presence of Mary Modoni, PS Correctional Services, representing the CS Interior. Thank you so much for being here. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker is, should have been the IG. I don't see him here, and therefore I will invite the Director of Public Prosecution, Mr. Nordin Haji, to come forward and address us.
Your Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Kenya Defence Forces, Honorable Dr. William Ruto, the Honorable Chief Justice and the President of the Supreme Court, Lady Justice Martha Koome, the Honorable Deputy Chief Justice, Madam Mesauji. Hata mkubwa alisahau majina. Honorable Attorney General J.B. Muturi, Honorable Judges of the Supreme Court of Kenya, the Honorable Judges and the Magistrates, His Excellency the Ambassador of the European Union of Kenya, Henriette Geiger, His Excellency Ambassador of the Royal Danish Embassy, Ole Thonke, Her Excellency the Ambassador of the United States Government, representatives of government agencies in the justice sector, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Your Excellency, apart from the CRJ, I think I'm the oldest member of the NCAJ, and it is our sincere pleasure to be part of this launch of the inaugural report of the National Council on the Administration of Justice. Your Excellency, on behalf of the NCAJ, I would like to express our deep gratitude for gracing this momentous occasion which brings together various institutions in the justice sector under the common of enhancing access to justice and promoting the rule of law. Your presence here, Your Excellency, is truly a testament of your administration's commitment to safeguarding the rule of law whilst fostering a government that is cognizant of the independence and interdependence of the institutions geared towards enhancing access to justice. Your Excellency, a lot of accusations have been made against the justice sector for decisions that we have made independently as officers charged with the various mandates to take charge and dispense justice. I'm sure this meeting we will be accused of sitting down and meeting with the executive. However, from the very beginning when the Chief Justice took over as the Chief Justice and the Chair of the NCAJ, she was very clear that as much as we are independent institutions, we are interdependent of each other, and we must work with each other. And this is how governments are supposed to be run. Your Excellency, allow me to extend our gratitude to the European Union and the UNODC, and especially to Her Excellency Ambassador Geiger, and one lady called Charity Kagwe from the UNODC, for their contribution towards enhancing access to justice to the citizens. Your Excellency, the PLEAD program is a unique program that has allowed us, as actors within the justice system, to choose our agendas. This PLEAD program has allowed us to be able to carry our various mandates as we should. A lot of other programs have other agendas that come with it. The PLEAD program has allowed the justice sector to choose their own programs and be able to discharge their mandate as is expected within the Constitution. Your Excellency, in 2020, we resolved to leverage on opportunities and initiatives such as the use of technology to drive reform within the justice system. In this regard, we integrated the judiciary e-filing system and the ODPP, Ward for case management system. This has enhanced efficiency in the management of criminal trials and with a positive effect on our development of data-driven policies. As I conclude, Your Excellency, allow me to mention that the NCAJ is currently established under the Judicial Service Act 2011. Accordingly, we are in the process of drafting the National Council on the Administration of Justice Bill 2022 to provide a robust legislative framework on the functions, powers, independence, and interdependence of the NCAJ. And my position as the Vice Chair of the NCAJ is testament to it, Your Excellency. It is not captured under the current bill and under the current act, but it was the wise vision of the Chief Justice that she established this office to allow for all actors within the NCAJ to feel inclusive and own the process. The bill will therefore define the responsibility of each institution, ensuring a cohesive NCAJ, an independent NCAJ, and an interdependent criminal justice and justice system within it. Your Excellency, I want to thank the CRJ and the Secretariat for the good job that they have done to ensure that the NCAJ works, and we hope this will continue. This commitment to see a country built on the foundation of the rule of law and a justice system that works is the vision that has brought us here today. And it is the mission that binds us together. So thank you, Your Excellency, and all partners in the NCAJ for your commitments to that vision and your contribution to this mission. God bless Kenya, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, DPP. We continue to appreciate your continuous support. May I also take this opportunity to just recognize chairs of various independent commissions. We have Honorable Florence Kajuju of the Commission on Administrative Justice. We have Lynn Mengich from the Salaries and Remuneration Commission. Thank you for joining us. We have Rosaline Odede from the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, Karibu Sana. We have Honorable Fula Chebukati, IEBC Chair, welcome. We have the Vice Chair, Public Service Commission, Charity Kisotu. Thank you for being here. We also have Christina Gimba, Chair, Kenya Law Reform Commission. May I now take this opportunity to ask the Honorable the Attorney General to come forward and address us. Honorable AG, please.
Your Excellency, President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Dr. William Ruto, the Lady, the Chief Justice, and President of the Supreme Court, the Deputy Chief Justice, judges of the Supreme Court, no other judges, Excellencies, the ambassadors here present, cabinet secretaries, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Your Excellency, when I had the judiciary of today and compare it with the judiciary where I left 25 years ago, I can truly say that there's been transformation and progress. Courtesy of the 2010 Constitution, Your Excellency, we have clear provisions on access to justice, and as a consequence, the development of the process of the National Council on Administration of Justice, whose core function is to coordinate or to ensure coordination of efficient, effective, efficient, and consultative justice system in the country. Indeed, Your Excellency, I need not repeat the very critical that is being played by the recently launched Court Use Association as a result of the 2010 Constitution. Your Excellency, the judiciary that I served in 25 years ago was one where access to justice was left to everybody's maker. It is true that adages like justice delayed is justice denied have always existed. But in the 2010 Constitution, there is a clear requirement for a robust justice system, both in the criminal and the civil justice sector. It's therefore gratifying to note that the National Council on Administration of Justice has for the first time prepared a report on the activities that they have undertaken in the year 2021-2022, on the basis of which other actors in the justice sector will have an opportunity to hold the National Council on Administration of Justice accountable, just as is required of all of us, Your Excellency. Therefore, it's not indeed something that is outlandish for the chair and the members of the National Council on Administration of Justice to require or request, as the DPP has said, that we in the executive, and particularly the Office of the Attorney General and State Law Office, facilitates the enactment of the National Council on Administration of Justice Bill. I'm aware that even though I just took office recently, the bill has progressed quite far, and I would be requesting the other players in the National Council on Administration of Justice to give us the latest ideas that there may be towards effectuating the realization of that bill. I'm sure, Your Excellency, Kenyans will recall that on accession to office, you did make a public pronouncement that this shall be that is governed on the basis of the rule of law and not the rule of man. Your presence here today, Your Excellency, is testament to your commitment to that public pronouncement on your very first day. And therefore, just to allay the fears expressed by the DPP, your presence here is not in any way to dictate to the justice sector how to do their work, but to collaborate and support the sector in the various endeavors that they are involved in. And indeed, Your Excellency, we commend the many strides that the judiciary has made. Just recently, when the judiciary launched the State of the Judiciary and Administration of Justice, the SOJA report, we did witness for ourselves the many strides, notwithstanding the complaint from the Supreme Court that they are working in a museum. But Your Excellency's commitment is towards improving the work environment of everybody in the judiciary and indeed in the entire public service sector. With those few remarks, Your Excellency, allow me to congratulate the players and all the actors in the National Council on Administration of Justice and wish them fruitful deliberations as we launch this annual report. I thank you.
Thank you so much, the Attorney General, and thank you so much for your candid words and encouragement words. Your Excellency, with your permission, I will request now we focus on the screens for a brief video session, sir.
Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, much. That was just a snapshot of what we're doing at the NCJ. It's now my humble duty to ask the Chair of NCJ, Chief Justice Martha Koome, President of the Supreme Court of Kenya, and as she comes forward, may I just take this opportunity also to acknowledge the presence of the President of the Law Society of Kenya, Eric Theory. Thank you so much for being here. Honorable Chief Justice, please.
Thank you very much, our Chief Registrar of the Judiciary, Your Excellency, Honorable Dr. William Samoei Ruto, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces, I recognize our Attorney General, our DCJ, and all the judges present, the Director of Public Prosecutions, the Cabinet Secretaries, and in the meeting. I recognize the NCAJ Council who have driven this process, our development partners, Your Excellencies, and submissions and diplomatic corps present, the President of the Law Society, and very, very distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning. On behalf of the NCAJ, I take this opportunity to thank Your Excellency for our invitation to grace this occasion of the launch of the first Administration of Justice Annual Report, period covering 2021-2022, which we have presented pursuant to provisions of Section 37 of the Judicial Service Act 2011. As justice sector institutions, we value this support and collaboration. Like every speaker has emphasized, Your Excellency, none of us would succeed unless we worked together. And just to allay the fears about our which we guard most jealously, we confirm in all our meetings we never discuss the merit of any matter. We only discuss the administration of justice. Are we delivering justice to our people? That is the question we ask ourselves all the time. I welcome all ends of NCAJ agencies, ends of other arms of government, our development partners, CSOs, and indeed all of you to this launch. Your Excellency, I also wish to offer apologies from the IG. Your government is very busy and very hands-on. On its way to this meeting, he was called because of a serious security breach. And I think he changed because he had to answer to you why those security lapses are happening, so he abandoned this meeting. Apologies from Your IG, Your Excellency. The report we are launching, as we have seen from the small snapshot, presents an account of the promises of the NCAJ and all the other agencies. This report identifies the challenges that we have encountered as agencies delivering justice to our people, especially the marginalized, and children and women. And I'm happy to welcome the new advisor to your office on women and women's rights. We will never let her go because the issues of women and their women's rights are many. We were recently the Specialized Court User Committee on Sexual Gender-Based Violence. So our tray will be full, and she'll be a member of the NCAJ because we have a specialized committee that is dealing with those issues of SGBB. The report also recognizes the opportunities and makes recommendations for ensuring access to justice for all the people of Kenya. Our programs at NCAJ, we are guided by the strategic plan that we have been following, which has its underpinnings in Kenya's Development Blueprint Vision 2030 and our international obligations under the Sustainable Development Goals. And of course, we have looked at Your Excellency's policy on the bottom up, and this is what we are calling access to justice for the marginalized, the poor, and the underprivileged. The success achieved in the period is attributable to the collaborative collaborative and consultative approach adopted by actors within the justice sector, which has contributed to the more efficient and effective delivery of justice. This, Your Excellency, being our inaugural report, we have tried to retell our story of the rationale and the genesis of the NCAJ and how it emerged from the appreciation at the local court level that stakeholder engagement and participation were key to addressing and responding to challenges in the delivery of justice. In the Constitution, the participation of people is central. And the justice that we are supposed to deliver is supposed to be people-centered. We are supposed to ask people, are we serving you? Are we delivering justice? This organic growth has been entrenched in statute following the recommendation of the task force on the judicial reforms that was made in 2010. Since its inception in 2011, the NCAJ has provided a platform for all the actors in the justice sector to design responses to the challenges within the justice sector. This has seen a proliferation of policies, guidelines, manuals developed by the various sectors. In addition, under the umbrella of the NCAJ actors, we formulated a response to the COVID-19 global pandemic that ensured the wheels of justice continued to turn in the wake of this debilitating, and we devised containment measures that were adopted to stop the spread of the virus in the country. During the reporting period, the NCAJ launched and we are implementing our strategic plan, whose vision is a coordinated and cohesive justice sector serving all the people of Kenya. I thank the Council for remaining completely focused on ensuring that we strengthen our governance structures at all levels. In line with our commitment to shared leadership, the Council resolved to have the position of the Vice Chairperson, and we elected unanimously Mr. Nudin Aji to that position, and he has hit the ground running and carried a lot of activities in his position as the Vice Chair. That is what we call shared leadership and shared responsibility. We have also created subcommittees at the Council level and formalized departments at the Secretariat. It was during this reporting period that the Judicial Service Commission recruited Dr. Maraga as the Executive Director of the NCAJ Secretariat. The NCAJ Council remains focused on deepening criminal justice reforms. In May 2022, as you have seen, Your Excellency, on the small clip, we successfully convened the second National Conference on Criminal Justice Reforms, dubbed towards a right-based criminal justice sector. One of the biggest challenges we have in our justice sector today is implementing criminal law that was enacted during the colonial period. Therefore, during this conference, participants delved on topics such as leveraging technology to enhance access to justice, ensuring that we safeguard human rights in the administration of justice, that we enhance access to justice for vulnerable groups, and tackling corruption in the justice sector and in our country at large. I will therefore encourage all of us to read the report and the details on its recommendations. Your Excellency, data collected on the number of files processed by the different actors in the criminal justice chain make a strong case for the recommendations we are making for alternatives to prosecution and alternatives to custodial sentences. During this period, the NCAJ Council also focused on civil justice reforms, and we felt we needed to launch a specialized court user committee for commercial courts, environment and land courts, and recently SGB. At the Council, we established a working committee on civil justice reforms and a department for civil justice reforms at the Secretariat level. Owing to the concerted efforts of the agencies, the period witnessed an increase in the number of matters resolved through ANDR. We have also been asked as the judiciary by the Council to expedite the commercial justice cases that are pending at the commercial division, and we have agreed as the judiciary to set time assigned in the month of February to do an RRI, or a rapid results initiative, on tax matters. At the heart of the NCAJ lies the court user committees, which is a novel approach, increasingly recognized at the regional and international level as a best practice in the administration of justice. I've been called to share our experiences outside of Kenya on how we run the court users committees. In 2021, we hosted a benchmarking delegation led by the Chief Justice of Mozambique, who came here to learn and draw from our experiences on how to set up and manage a court user committee. During the reporting period, NCAJ expanded the numbers of CUCs by 26%. We are now operating at 236. We have now specialized court users committees for children. Your Excellency, the whole of November, we were looking at the welfare of our children. And one of the clarion calls at that meeting, which I attended the symposium to end the service week, was let every Kenyan ask Aliam Toto. Every morning let us ask, how are our children? And I was happy, Your Excellency, the other night when I watched you on TV, reminding parents to take the responsibility of finding out how their children's day in school was. Did they have homework? And if they have homework, how can the parent help? This is a conversation we need to continue having so that we can rescue our children who are being disconnected from the society and being termed delinquent. They are being termed delinquent because of a failure of a system. We are supposed to take care of our children. We've also set aside environment and land CUC and commercial court CUC. At the grassroots level, CUCs are instrumental in unlocking barriers to the administration of justice. I am based here in Nairobi with the Deputy Chief Justice. We are not in every court. So we've been calling upon our ends of stations, our presiding judges in the region, to take charge of the leadership of the CUCs, together with the DPP and the AG office. They run very vibrant CUCs with other agencies. Most of them have devised very effective case clearance innovations, enhancing the overall performance of our justice system. It is apt to recognize a few of these pace setters, such as Kapsabet Law Court CUC, Vihiga Court CUC, Biwa CUC. If their representatives are present, I would actually invite them to stand, because they have been very, very innovative, so that Your Excellency can recognize these are our champions for how we can join hands together and work together for the benefit of our people. Thank you very much, and please be seated. The efforts of the NCAJ Standing Committee on the Administration of Justice in Children Matters bore fruit with the enactment of the Children Act 2022. Implementing the Act, Your Excellency, will contribute greatly to protecting children's rights. Working with the judiciary, the committee has now institutionalized November as the Child Justice Service Month. This intervention has contributed to increased awareness of child rights and needs within the justice sector and accelerated the disposal of matters, as well as raising awareness within the society. Who is a child? And what is the requirement? What is parental responsibility? What is community responsibility over a child? The NCAJ, in acknowledging the unique vulnerabilities of survivors of victims of SGBB, revamped our working committee on sexual and gender-based violence and developed standard operating guidelines on sexual and gender-based violence. We also recently launched the National Specialized CUC for SGBB courts to consolidate our efforts to ensure that these cases that the country decided the offense of sexual violence is unacceptable are heard and determined in the most efficient manner. While we were launching this court, our attention was drawn, Your Excellency, to harmful practices that are taking place in some corners of this country, where young girls are being prepared for FGM. And Your Excellency will be inviting you to take up, to be one of our champions, to say, in the year 2022, in this century, we cannot have little girls being removed from school, to be subjected to FGM, to be subjected to early marriages, little girls to be doing exams from the maternity wing. We have to say no to sexual and gender-based violence. We must protect our society. We must protect our children, because at the end of the day, they become a burden to the government. The government will have to look after the mother who is a child and the child who is born. So we have to protect ourselves, and NCAJ recognizes that we have a role to play in that, because our members of the court users committees are present in those sites, in those locations, and therefore the question we'll be asking within ourselves is who is sleeping on their job, because there is a county commissioner, there's a chief, there's a OCS, there's a OCPD, there's a court within the region. Why are these activities going on? That is a big question we'll be asking ourselves when we meet in our own assembly, Your Excellency. So NCAJ recognizes that we have to fully harness technology and the potential it brings in accessing justice. Accordingly, we have established a working committee to facilitate the rollout of the ICT focused on collaboration. We are working on building seamless interoperability of ICT systems among justice sector agencies. To support this, we intend to scale up investment in ICT across the justice sector so that all agencies can be at the same level. Given our strong belief and also which we share with Your Excellency on the effectiveness of ICT as an enabler, also of justice, we hope that National Treasury can ring-fence budgetary allocation specifically targeted to ICT for justice sector agencies to ensure undisrupted delivery of justice. The report also identifies challenges that have continued to plague the sector. These are limited resources, human and financial capacities. In addition, we observe that there have been instances of overlapping mandates between the institutions that are played out negatively in public. In the next financial year, Your Excellency, the NCJ will prioritize the finalization of the draft bill, the development of the ICT policy. We also hope to strengthen and institutionalize the CUC, reforms focused on the vulnerable groups, broadening our network of collaborations, both state and non-state actors, and formulating coordinated responses to corruption. We will look at the National Treasury and our development partners for continued support. And as I conclude, Your Excellency, I would like to recognize the work and commitment of the NCJ Secretariat, the working committees, and our CSO partners, and the contribution they have made to the success of NCJ, which we have captured in the report. The Council that I chair remains absolutely committed to supporting the work of the Secretariat and working committees of the NCJ and strengthening the partnerships that we have enjoyed from our development partners. Finally, please join me in celebrating the team that has worked tirelessly many of the programs covered in the year under review. Once again, Your Excellency, I thank you for making time to come and encourage us, because we are all about inter-agency, interdependence, collaboration, and cooperation, because at the end of the day, we serve one Kenyan, the one Kenyans have named Wanjiku. So God bless you, and God bless Kenya. And now, it is my very, very singular honor and privilege to invite Your Excellency, the President, to deliver your keynote address to us this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Madam Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court. Let's take our seats. Asante sana. Distinguished Madam Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court, Madam Deputy Chief Justice, the Attorney General, my good friend Justin Turi, ministers present, distinguished President and High Commissioners, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I will not forget judges of the Supreme Court. Good morning. I am truly happy to be part of this first ever launch of the report of NCJ. I'm told that this is the inaugural report, even though NCJ has been here for 10 years. I don't know whether it's by coincidence that I am present here today, or it was somehow waiting for me. And as I walked in here, I was looking for the maze, because normally when I come to where the judiciary is, I normally see a maze. So I don't know whether it was open today or it was not supposed to be here. Oh, this is not the judiciary function, it is NCAJ. I was doing that because some of the members of the NCAJ have been complaining that the judiciary is bullying them. But with the absence of the maze, I think that allegation is not true. But I'm honored to be here for this launch. It is highly encouraging to observe such an impressive assembly of diverse actors united in common endeavor. The struggle for a just society is a noble end in and of itself. At the same time, it cannot be denied that progress in this quest directly leads to significant improvement in the lives of all people. The efficacy of our justice sector, whether and how we uphold the rule of law and administration of justice, is key to the performance of the institutions of our political economy. Our most salient aspiration from the Kenya Vision 2030 to the government's plan for the bottom-up economic transformation agenda rely on the strength and credibility of the justice system. Since the establishment of the National Council on Administration of Justice more than 11 years ago, it has been gratifying to witness its steady growth and maturation of constituent organizations. As a result, public confidence has risen steadily, with more and more Kenyans seeking to access justice and majority expressing satisfaction in the services provided. The impressive transformation of the sector is by no means inadvertent. Rather, it is the outcome of effective coordination of relevant actors on a consistent basis. This successful model holds important lessons for other sectors in effective approaches to coordinating diverse actors to achieve far-reaching sectoral reforms. And on this account, I want to say well done to NCAJ. I note with great appreciation that despite these considerable achievements, you are not resting on your laurels. The good work continues, building on the encouraging achievements from past efforts. This is why the current strategy is titled A Coordinated and Cohesive Justice Sector Serving the People of Kenya. The government pledges its support to NCHA to deliver on this plan, particularly on the 7 priority areas. 1, strengthened NCAJ coordinating mechanism for improved access to justice. 2, enhanced criminal justice reforms. 3, strengthened court users committees to coordinate justice at all levels and especially at the local level. 4, improved access to justice for vulnerable groups. Enhanced civil sector justice reforms especially. 5, strengthened partnerships. And 6, stakeholder engagement. And finally, effective monitoring and evaluation for the justice sector. The coordinating mechanism, which is responsible for many achievements, is due for enhancement if the sector is to rise to its next level of efficiency and efficacy. It is time to also enhance criminal justice system reforms. Apart from credible and expeditious due process, criminal justice must evolve to catch up with best practice and respond to the common sense. The prejudice is compounded where the accused turns out not to be guilty. Custodial sentencing should not be defined default conviction, especially where petty crimes are involved. Similarly, there are many instances in which the use of technology, the use of alternative resolution approaches, the use of alternative to prosecution could go a long way in achieving substantive justice without overburdening the criminal justice system. The need for robust integrity assurance framework is a critical priority for NCAJ. The NCAJ's Committee on Anti-Corruption must deliver a strong, clear message to the nation that zero tolerance to corruption is a meaningful proposition, and that the credibility and legitimacy of justice sector institutions must never be taken for granted. The NCAJ's strategic emphasis on the enhancement of access to justice by vulnerable groups is commendable. Particularly noteworthy is the escalation of efforts to improve the protection of children by the Committee on Child Justice, which culminated in the enactment of the Children's Act 2022. Every endeavor to advance the interests of children guarantees a strong future for our nation. Our children, therefore, matter, and the NCAJ's efforts are especially commendable. And as I said the other day, it is our collective responsibility as parents to make sure that we participate in ensuring that our children, whether in school or out of school, are within our watch so that they don't suffer the consequences that justice has enumerated. I also appreciate the admirable work to enhance effective access to justice for groups whose freedoms and rights have traditionally been encumbered by stigma. These include persons with mental illness, intersex persons, as well as survivors of sexual and gender-based violence. It will come as no surprise that I'm keenly interested in the NCAJ's model of grassroots service delivery. The court users committees are focal points in a democratized, bottom-up justice process. I commend this model unreservedly. Both the coordination of actors and delivery of services will increasingly depend on the extent of adoption and deployment of technology. The transformational power of technology remains underappreciated. It can transform the weakest link into a model and a threat into opportunity. I am confident that as chair of the NCAJ Committee on ICT, Mr. Justice Isaac Lenaola is alive to all these possibilities and is providing leadership in the direction of the future. And maybe to confirm to you that the government of Kenya, we have now sorted out all the issues that encumbered our digitization of government services, e-citizen platform. And in a couple of weeks, we will roll out a robust program on digitizing all government services, 5,000 government services. We will give in this process, we will work with the judiciary to see whether we can build synergy in digitization of services in the judiciary so that we can support a seamless technology use across government. We have also, we are working also on a program to ensure that that digitization exercise enables government to collect taxes. And I encourage the judiciary to support the process of government raising taxes, kicking out all people seeking refuge in the judiciary and who have refused to pay tax. I think the judiciary should not give them a safe haven. I have already discussed with the Kenya Revenue Authority that no matter should go to court unless it must, that we should try and sort out all matters, try to talk to our customers, try to talk to all taxpayers, try to all the issues out of court. So whenever you see a matter now appearing in court, please know that we have exhausted all efforts to try and resolve that matter out of court and help us so that people who don't want to pay tax do not find any refuge in our court system. And this is why I have asked the Cabinet Secretary for ICT to be available to give the ministry's full support to the NCAJ Working Committee whenever called upon to do anything for ensuring that you achieve your target of using technology to enhance the efficiency of delivery of our justice and the entire justice system. The maturation of the NCAJ and its significant achievements have firmly demonstrated that it is indispensable to the transformation of the national framework for access and especially inclusive justice. I therefore agree that the establishment of NCAJ, an autonomous agency, is an idea whose time has come. The government will support the legislative process to achieve this objective. Told the Chief Justice, President of the Supreme Court, that we are already, Attorney General will present to Cabinet and eventually to Parliament the law that will assist in ensuring that NCHA is firmly rooted on legal foundation. Finally, I wish to reiterate our pledge that despite prevailing budgetary challenges, we will unlock financial resources necessary to enhance access to justice in terms of infrastructure as well as personnel. I have agreed with the Chief Justice this morning that the pending 4 small claims courts in Nairobi, I will talk to the Governor of Nairobi so that we can expedite the completion of these courts, because small claims courts are a bottom-up benefit, and therefore, Madam Chief Justice, within the next 90 days, we will give you the 4 courts in Nairobi that have been outstanding so that you can set up the small claims courts in the various areas of Nairobi County. Also, to support the judiciary's effort in ensuring that there is efficient delivery of justice, I have asked the Attorney General to present the 2 bills that have been outstanding for a while now to Cabinet tomorrow. The pensions for judges, which has been pending for, I'm told, 4 years. We will approve it tomorrow. We will consider it in Cabinet tomorrow and forward it to Parliament for enactment so that we can support the judges, and I am told by the Chief Justice that this will be a contributory scheme, which is what we should be doing, and it will go a long way in building resources and savings in our country, and therefore it has my full endorsement that this should be the way to go. Again, to support the efficiency of our judicial system, the tribunals bill will again be presented to Cabinet tomorrow, again, so that we can be able to support the judiciary, provide the infrastructure for ensuring that we decongest our court system by making sure that the support system in the tribunals are working. Again, it will assist us in making sure that justice is delivered efficiently. Let me also agree with Madam Chief Justice that FGM should not be a conversation we are having in Kenya in the 21st century. We must go out of our way, and I want to assure you of my administration's support in ensuring that we eliminate female genital mutilation in our country, because it is not only retrogressive, but it is a danger to the health of all our girls. So that we will work together. And we will ensure that we maintain. I know there is maybe a discussion as to why I am appearing in too many of the functions of the judiciary. I think they can confirm to you that I have never put a telephone call to anybody to ask them to do nothing. My support for the judiciary is so that they can effectively deliver justice to the people of Kenya, period. And I want to congratulate all the actors. I am particularly pleased to see my friend Eric Theuri here, who took me to court the other day when I made some appointments. And I appreciate that it's the wheels of justice. And I'm very happy that he is not threatening to organize any demonstrations, because he did not he did not win the case. So I think we are all in this space because we have to act in a manner, and everybody is entitled to do what they must do. And it's okay to take government to court. It's okay to take me to court. I have no problem. If you have a matter, and if I lose, I have no problem. You know, I move on to the next. It means I was wrong, because nobody is an angel. Everybody, all of us can be wrong or right, but we leave it to the judiciary to decide whether one is guilty or one is innocent. I think that way we will be affirming the foundation of the rule of law in our country. I congratulate the NCAJ for your fine achievements. I note that this has been made possible to a great extent by the diligent execution of your strategic plan. I therefore commend you for formulating the new strategic plan and wish you great success as you implement it. Asanteni sana, and may the good Lord bless you.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Rais. Wengine wote nitaomba tuketi nimwelekeze Mheshimiwa Rais katika sehemu ya kufanya uzinduzi. Your Excellency Sir, the CJ, the AG, the DCJ and the CRJ, kindly at this point, sir, we are doing the launch of this side. Niombe wale wengine tuketi so that our members of the fourth estate from the behind can see. Tuko tayari sasa kufanya uzinduzi. Nitaomba sasa Mheshimiwa Rais kwa heshima aweze kutufanyia uzinduzi. Tumpongeze Mheshimiwa Rais kwa makofi. At the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let us appreciate His Excellency. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Rais. Thank you sir. Nitaomba Mheshimiwa Rais unikubalie tuweze kutoa